Draft Combine, day 2 from Chicago, Illinois, here at Attack Athletics Gym. And day 2, we have workouts by positional groups like we did yesterday, but even more than that, we have a lot of our testing. But one thing that's going on right now is we're looking at the centers work out against each other. And Jeremy Tyler, who's in that group, has as interesting a story as any prospect here at the Combine, Chad. He is somebody who, and of course we're joined here, Chad Ford, Leno Moore, Tom Penn, Fran Fraschilla, somebody that has actually been pretty impressive and somebody that teams have been talking about carrying over from day 1.
Yeah, while the cameras were on the testing over here, the big men were been working out, and one of the things I've noticed about him, he's giving all of these guys problems because of his combination of length. He had a 7'5" wingspan, which is just terrific, and a absolutely fantastic standing reach. Tyler with a 9-foot, 2.5-inch standing reach, but he's also explosive athletically. So when you add the length with the explosiveness athletically, he's giving these guys a lot of problems, and he's playing good defense right now. I talked to a general manager last night who said, look, if this guy had gone the traditional route, had he stayed in high school for his senior year, and then had he went and played at a big program, we're talking about a guy as a potential lottery pick, given his athletic measurements, his ability to jump, his ability to block shots, and do things like that. But because he's such an unknown, NBA teams did not send their scouts to Japan this year to watch him play. He played hardly at all in Israel, and so they're really working on just his upside.
Well, there's upside, and in the draft, bigs rise. Bigs always rise because every team needs size. And if you think about a project with upside, the contractual commitment you have to make in the late first round is you make a 2-year guarantee on the current rules for about $1 million a year. So it's not much. Then you have options for year 3 and year 4. That gives you the chance to go after one of these bigs up here. A Greg Smith, a Rick Jackson, a guy you might want to take a chance on. But back to Tyler, he's the perfect kind of guy you'd say, well, bring in, we'll throw resources at, and we'll develop him.
And we have the D-League now, which is a big thing for NBA teams, because you see guys like Serge Ibaka, who wasn't ready to play in the NBA but got developed in the D-League and now is ready to come in and play something for the Thunder. You can take a guy like Tyler now, and teams have an option besides just sitting him at the end of the bench to begin to develop him in the D-League.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Tyler, his story is a cautionary tale about decision making. I don't think the people that made the decisions for him were doing it in his best interest. They were doing it in their best interest. Now is the time for Jeremy Tyler, obviously, to emerge. And with that crooked road to the NBA, at least he's got a pathway.
Fran, you coach this kid.
Yep.
What can you tell us about him? Like, if it's a best case scenario, his story as an NBA player.
He's gonna. I think best case scenario, he can be in the league for 10 years as a role player. I don't think his skill level is going to be high enough for him to ever be a star. But last year in June in Italy, when we coached him, he was a thread away from being out of basketball, and he turned his career around at that point. His attitude seems to have changed. I've had a couple of great discussions with him this week. Maturity is a huge thing with this kid, but he's very, very young. I don't think he should have went the route that he did in terms of going to Europe. But as Tom mentioned, when you look at his size and his athletic ability, he's a risk, but he's a great risk at the end of the first. Maybe more likely to me a second round.
What specifically did he do you think? As you know, you said maturity or turning things around. Did he commit to working, or what did he do?
Well, I got to tell you honestly, he had some very bad moments in Israel, and things that I probably don't want to talk about right now. But he was very immature. He was a child playing with men.
Sure.
And it's not even a great league. It's not like he was in the Euro League. But to his credit, and his agents and the people around him, he started to figure it out. Now, is it a bluff? Is it phony? I don't know. But he seems like a kid that wants to try to do the right thing.
Well, back on the drill side, as we take a look at the small forwards finishing things up, Chandler Parsons, it's